What's up, everybody? Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video and single spotlight. We're going to be doing it in every single video. Even though this Pokemon is almost unplayable in singles, it doesn't even have an entry in Pikalytics. It doesn't even have an entry in Smogon, so I'm kind of just going off of past formats. However, it doesn't do a great job at what it did in the past, now or then, so it's not great. However, you can still use it, mess around with some casuals, and maybe even ranked if you want to. If you make it work, then let me know. Like, tell me. That's really cool. Anyway, same with doubles. This Pokemon is not very competitively viable, unfortunately. It has a couple of really cool situations you can put it in, a couple of really good positionings with certain Pokemon, especially G-Max Snorlax. If you use a berry, being able to get super bulky with Curse and then get back your berry every single turn. As long as your opposing Pokemon doesn't have any special attack, stab, super effective moves, you're looking not too bad, actually, with some leftover and protect with berry recovery. Not too bad, actually. So that's kind of what we're leaning into today. I know I have leftovers in the build. However, if you're using it with Snorlax, put it on a berry, figure a Guava, whichever one Snorlax doesn't already have. You're going to use 2 pinch berries, and it's going to be pretty sweet. And yeah, we have a pretty good setup for it, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. But for now, we're going to talk about Wailord. So, first off, it's a mono water type Pokemon, so it resists fire, water, ice, steel. Pretty solid set of resists, actually, and then weakness to electric and grass, which is also pretty bad for weaknesses. There are a lot of special attacking stab Pokemon that have those, as you see here on the that way, right next to our synergetic Pokemon. However, with that being said, Light Screen plus leftovers, protect, and berry recovery, we can actually we can live a good while after a curse, and but special attacks are scary for our Pokemon. Anyway, we're gonna talk about some stats. So first off, 170 HP. That's a lot of HP. And if you Dynamax this Pokemon, it has a lot of HP. However, we're not going to be Dynamaxing with our build because, well, most likely because of the G-Max Snorlax synergy. However, if you play it without that, you can definitely Dynamax. It gets huge, unbelievable XP, or unbelievable HP, and you're going to kill every single person in the stadium because this becomes the size of, the world. Not actually, but it gets huge, and it doesn't look that huge, in the game. But it would be huge. It would be way bigger. Anyway, 90 attack is pretty solid. Special attack 90 as well, so you can really pick your route that you want to go. We have a curse set here today, so that's what we're leaning into. Since after our curse or 2, we're +1, +2, +3 even attack. So we're leaning more into the attack stat, especially since our moveset is pretty solid for that. Liquidation, Earthquake is pretty good. We also have access to Heavy Slam if you want to put that on and stuff like that. But its special attack stat is even. So if you don't go for curse, you can definitely go for some special attacks, things like Scald, Water Spout, Ice Beam, Icy Wind, things like that. It's pretty solid. As far as our defenses go, they're actually pretty bad. So 45 defense and 45 special defense is not good. Paired with our 170 HP, so we have a lot of HP, but we take a lot of damage to a lot of attacks. So that's pretty unfortunate. So we're leaning a little bit into defense, since physical is just more common. However, for our electric and grass weaknesses, maybe we should invest into special defense. It's really your choice. I haven't played this Pokemon in actual games, so I don't know the best build, and Pikalytics doesn't have very many builds, and I don't see very many builds for Wailord. So it's kind of hard, and if you want to use this Pokemon, you definitely want to try a lot of different things. Maybe lean into its special defense a little bit more, since things like Rotom and Ludicolo and Solar Beam are pretty rampant, or rampant enough to want to avoid that. And then into our speed, we're at speed 60, so we're using Trick Room off of this. We want to set up Trick Room, set up Belly Drum G-Max Lax, and then set up Trick Room, and then have G-Max Lax and Wailord just sweeping and living, but sweeping. And that's kind of the hope here, is that we can do that. So that's pretty cool. Curse also lowers our speed, so that under Trick Room we're pretty fast, and we're going 0 IVs into speed and minus for our nature. Sorry if I'm annoying you by spinning back and forth. Oh well. Anyway, that's going to be it for our stats. We're going to go ahead and jump into the build here. Almost 5 minutes in, a little late, but it is what it is. So, item leftovers. if you're using Gmax Lax, use Berry. A Guava or Figgy, whichever one you don't use on that. Pinch Berry is ideal, potentially, just because a lot of things hit you into range of that. You could also use Citrus Berry if you wanted to. It's really up to you. Play around with it. See some damage calcs. See what actually hits you into that range. And, yeah, do it. And then tell me in the comments, because we're a community. So let's build each other up instead of bringing each other down. Anyway. Water Veil is our ability. This doesn't let you get burned. That's all it does. But since we're physically attacking, we don't really want to get burned. Burned is also annoying for just the chip damage. It like essentially negates our leftovers, and then our leftover protect doesn't do anything. So just stopping burn in general is pretty good. Oblivious is it's an okay ability, and Pressure is okay as well. Pressure Stalling is the singles way that we're playing this Pokemon. You'll see that later in the video at Single Spotlight, or you can just skip there in the timestamps below in the description if you want to. Anyway, Water Veil, pretty good. Burn, bad. Burn, negation is good. I said that really weird. Anyway, into our moves, we have Liquidation, Earthquake, Curse, Protect. So Curse is the name of the game. We're going to get slow and strong and sturdy with our defense. And then we're going to be able to take just about any like defensive thing. So if you see your opponent has like a Ludicolo or a Rotom on their team, that's scary. So if you get rid of that and then bring in Wailord and then set up Curses, they only have physical attack Pokemon. You're looking pretty solid. You set up Grimmsnarl screens, you're looking pretty solid. You just get this Pokemon as bulky as possible, and then you're able to do some pretty solid damage with Liquidation and Earthquake, and potentially Heavy Slam if you want to put that on. And then we also have Protect, obviously, so that we can offset our heal with leftovers. If not, you can still run Protect, even if you're running a Berry. It's up to you. You know, it's up to the... Yeah, I haven't played this Pokemon at all, so... This is pretty much like a very rough build. This is also one of the only builds on Pikalytics, so that's why where the stats came from, I plugged them into damage calcs, and it looks pretty solid. Overall, maybe put some into special defense, because some special defense things threaten us a lot. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, so I'm sorry about that. Anyway, onto our other, like our flex moves. So I talked about Heavy Slam. You can put that on. We're really big, so Heavy Slam's not that bad of an attack usually. Then we also have Rest, which is good. You know, it makes you sleep and then you heal. You could use Lumberry and then Rest if you want to. That could be another option as well. And then we also have Fissure. Since we live for a little while, or that's the hope, we can set off a couple of Fissures and see if we can get some free Okos, and that's another idea about that. And then we also have Scald as the main special attack that we would use if we went into special attack and went with the not Curse option. However, you can still use Scald with Curse on the field, or with Curse active, just because it gets burns, it's pretty solid damage, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Into our stats, so we have 52 invested in HP. This just helps us live a little bit more. I guess this is the Pikalytics one. Sorry, once again, I haven't played this Pokemon, so I actually don't have the perfect build offhand. However, this is the most used build. We also have attack invested at 212 with Brave Nature, so we're plus attack minus speed, and then 244 into defense just to live as much attack or as much damage as we can, since our base defenses are very low actually, only down to 45, 65 after IVs, 94 after some investments. It's not great, but it's not the worst. You know, we can live some attacks. Onto our synergetic Pokemon. So I talked about the Snorlax briefly. However, Snorlax Gmax attack lets you grab back berries. It gives you a 50% chance of getting both your Pokemon's berries back. So you use Wailord with a Pinch Berry or Citrus Berry, take some damage, and then Gmax just gets it back. Gmax Lax just gets it back. Berry picking, baby. It's really it's pretty solid actually. So I thought about that. You can use like something like Indeedee to set up Belly Drum, and then go into a Trick Room user, set up Trick Room, let it die, bring out the Snorlax Wailord combo, set up some curses, and start attacking. It'd be really cool if Wailord got Trick Room, but that's a bit too much. Actually, doesn't. I didn't check, but I really highly doubt it. I hate Showdown. Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to disconnect? Yeah, no Trick Room. That'd be cool. That would be cool. It wouldn't really make sense if it got Trick Room, but still, it'd be cool. Anyway, on to our next one is Excadrill. So you can also Dynamax Excadrill for Steel Spikes and Max Quakes, just to raise your defense and special defenses pretty well too. We saw that with Curselax in the past, and it worked really well. I liked it a lot. AV, Excadrill, live some attacks just so you can get as many G max attacks or Dynamax attacks, max moves off as possible, and that's pretty solid. It was really good in the past. You could definitely do it with Wailord as well, especially since that kind of patches up a lot of weaknesses of both Pokemon. You know, Excadrill has good coverage against Electric, not the best against Grass, but Grass doesn't do too much to it because of its Steel typing as well, so it covers its typing pretty well. We also have Arcanine here for Intimidate and Will-O-Wisp and Snarl to just lower all defenses, and then we also have Grimmsnarl for screens. That's really the only synergy between those Pokemon, but they're pretty good synergies in my opinion. As well as scary Pokemon, we have Rotom-mo. All the Rotoms are scary because they have electric moves that are special attack, especially if they're Scarf max damage. Even if not Scarf, if they're max special attack, they're still doing a lot of damage, if not killing. And then Ludicolo is scary because of Giga Drain / max Overgrowth, and same with the Charizard with max Overgrowth or the Solar Beam. So both of those are pretty scary. All those Pokemon are pretty good. Pretty much just special attack, stab, super effective moves are like scary for us. So anyway, now we're gonna go into our speed tiers. I feel like I'm making this video really long, but oh well. So here we are at 58. We're on the same speed tier as Oranguru and Jellicent, which you will both see as mid speed a lot of the time. Not always. Jellicent we saw on the first place Dallas team had a little bit higher. It had max IVs. It had a little bit of speed invested. I think like 12. I want to say. Actually, I think I still have that tab open. No, I don't. Oh well. But yeah, so Jellicent won't always be on that same speed tier. It might outspeed you. It might set up Trick Room and then be lower speed than you after Trick Room. So that's pretty good as well. Especially after Cursor 2, we're going to be outspeeding all of these things. Everything that we're under, actually. Curse lowers our speed like pretty significantly. Above us, we have Gothitelle at 0 speed, hindering nature, which is what you'll see Gothitelle a lot of the time, probably at least 50%, maybe more. Pretty good, unless it's the Imprison set, which we'll see sometimes as well. Outspeeding that is Conkeldurr at uninvested. This is not hindering nature. You'll see that at the very bottom at 45. However, this is what you'll see a lot, Conkeldurr. Maybe sometimes you'll see it with a little bit of invested speed. We saw that in the Dallas team, the same team as the Jellicent. We saw, I think, 44 speed, with the Conkeldurr making Tailwind Conkeldurr outspeed certain things like Modest Duraludon, which we don't see that frequently anymore, so that could be something that is subject to change. However, still pretty relevant to think about. Under us, we have 55 Mudsdale uninvested. This is without hindering nature. This is what you'll see Mudsdale a lot of the time. Sometimes it will be invested a little bit higher as well, maybe even outspeeding us. I think in my last set I had 12, I think, so we would still be outspeeding that initially, but after Cursed you would be outspeeding, or you would be underspeeding it, which is good for Trick Room if you can set up Trick Room. Excuse me, I have a lot of allergies. Under that, we have 50 Snorlax and Reuniclus. This is uninvested. Actually, I messed up. That should only be Snorlax. It doesn't need to be Reuniclus. That will almost always be min speed, hindering nature. This is just min speed without. This is like not hindering nature, so you probably won't see Reuniclus on that. We do outspeed it. However, we may not outspeed under Curse. I think it hits like 31 speed tier or something. Hindering nature, I'm not sure. But Snorlax you'll see on this speed tier pretty frequently, being uninvested instead of min speed and hindering nature, just so it can outspeed other things and play out of Trick Room as well. We also have 46 Hippowdon. You won't see this very frequently, but it's there. It's hindering nature pretty frequently of the time. And then we also have Conkeldurr, hindering nature under that, which I talked about a little bit. Anyway, on to our next one. We have Damage Calcs. And Damage Calcs are almost all just like, hey, this guy dies, or hey, this guy lives. But we're going to start off with a hey, this guy dies. So Dynamaxed, Life Orb, Solar Power, Max Overgrowth from a Charizard. Guarantee kills us 134 to 158%. Now, if we Dynamax, then we won't have to, but, or if we Dynamax, we won't die to this. But this isn't the Dynamax Wailord. You can definitely play a Dynamax Wailord. It might be played a little bit different. You can still play Curse on the set. However, probably won't. Ludicolo Dynamaxed, max invested, max overgrowth into us. It's 140 to 165. That's also going to just kill us. Max overgrowth is a pain on a special attacker. So, yeah, keep that in mind. And then we also have Leaf Storm from an uninvested Rotom Cut into our Wailord. doing a guaranteed OCO as well, 112 to 133%. Usually you'll see it a little invested or max invested, but regardless, we die to it no matter what. So that's pretty unfortunate. However, a couple of things that we do live, which is fortunate. So Dynamax Life Orb Excadrill Max Quake into us does 80 to 96%. So we live that guaranteed, which is pretty cool. And then our Liquidation does 48 to 58%. So we do two-shot it. However, if we set Trick Room, we win the matchup. If we don't set up Trick Room, then we lose the matchup. So keep that in mind. And then for our last damage calc here, we have Gyarados Dynamaxed Max Overgrowth with Power Whip. We have 76 to 91%, so we live that guaranteed. However, if they do Moxie, if they have Moxie and then kill something else and then Max Overgrowth us, they will kill us. So keep that in mind as well. Although each curse will be very significant for that. Anyway, on to our single spotlight. So single spotlight. This Pokemon is not very good in singles, and it never has been great. So this is the PP stall. We just stall them out and have pressure. Actually, the ability there is a Water Veil. It's supposed to be pressure. Pressure. So we use pressure because pressure gives us, it makes everybody use 2 PP instead of 1 PP. So then we use double P, and then they use double PP, and we just pressure stall them out with Aqua Ring, Substitute, Protect, and Scald. Scald setting up some burns, Protect setting up, obviously it's just for leftover damage or leftover and Aqua Ring health, and then we also have Sub to just stall as much as possible. This is a pretty lame set, to be honest. Just across the board is pretty lame. Yeah, but in the past this saw a little bit of play, but it would usually just see play as something like Pikumuku. That could also do its job pretty well. And Jellicent is on pretty close to the same tier in singles, and it does it a lot better because of Will-O-Wisp and other moves like that, like Taunt, I think. I'm not sure, maybe Confuse Ray. But yeah, it did a better job, and Floatzel's on the same tier, and that does a better job as well. More offensive pressure and stuff like that. So pressure, like PP stalling doesn't really do much on a Pokemon with such glaring weaknesses sometimes. So it's pretty annoying. So we just max into our defense and special defense. This is a pretty lame set. It really is. It's just pressure stalling and then potentially sending them Scald for burns and just healing a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much it for singles. Sorry I don't have much more to say for single spotlight, but Wailord is not the best Pokemon across the board. It has crazy HP stat, but its speed, other than that, all of its stats are like pretty mediocre, if not under average. So that's why you don't see very much Wailord. However, if you do want to play Wailord, this is a way to play it. So anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe. It means a lot. We're at 560 plus viewers or subs now. And yeah, hint, hint, I'm going to do a giveaway at a K subs when we get to there. I'll talk more about it when we get closer to that. But yeah, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. I said it twice because I really appreciate it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Said it 3 times because I really appreciate it. And goodbye.